Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials. Cooking with your preps or with the same ingredients time after time can get a little bit boring, and it's easy for food fatigue to set in. So I always try and do something a little bit different just to mix things up a little bit and to help stop food fatigue. So let's take a look and see what I've got for you today. Well, here we are in the kitchen with another one of my Cooking with Your Preps videos. This is something very simple, breakfast, lunch or even dinner meal, with things that you would normally have in your food stores or things that you can grow in your little self-sufficiency garden. And you can grow these in pretty much any size garden. You don't need a big field as I have. You'll have seen these. These were literally just harvested the other week, these onions. So I've got 150 grams of onions, carrots, same thing, 150 grams. I've got 300 grams of potatoes. I've got 4 just regular sized eggs. I've got a 250 gram tin of Spam. This is actually a Spam substitute. It's bacon grilled, but it is the same as Spam, but cheaper. But tastes exactly the same. And then the usual condiments, so some salt, some pepper, and a bit of oil for frying. So we're going to make some carrot and onion muffins. Sounds a bit strange. And then to go with that, because the muffins are kind of the side, for the main, we've got the potatoes and the Spam. So I'll quickly get these prepped up and into dishes so you can see how I've prepared them ready for cooking. And I'll be back to you shortly. All I'm doing with the carrots is literally slicing them up into very fine little slithers, just so that they're tiny little fingers, you can see on there. No great science involved in this, just getting them up into manageable little pieces. You can use a grater if you want, but to be honest, it's just as easy doing them like this. So I'll get cracking with these, but you can see what I'm doing. Tiny little slithers like that. And I'll come back to you in a second when these are done. So, same thing again with the onions. All we're doing is putting them into little tiny slithers like this. So again, I'll just keep chopping away. And I'll come back once we're done. All I've done with the potatoes is just slightly scrape the skins where there's been any scabs or other imperfections. I've not actually peeled them per se. I quite like skins on the potatoes where I can. So these are going to be a little bit bigger than the onions and the carrots. But again, we're just popping them into little cubes, slightly bigger, as I say, than the carrots and the onions. But again, save you watching me go all the way through this process. I'll come back to you again in a moment once I've got these done. And then finally we've got our bacon grill or Spam. And again, all I'm going to do with this is cut it into chunks, little cubes. It's surprising how much meat you actually get in these cans. It is quite a lot, really. But again, as with everything else, just chopping these into little cubes. They don't have to be exact sizes, as long as they're something like, we want everything to try and cook around about the same time. So again, I'll just keep on going with this. We're almost there, to be fair. Save me turning the video off and on again. Bear with me a second while I just do this last one. You'll remember at the start there were 4 eggs involved, which there are. And all I've done is pop those into this big bowl. I'll whisk those up now, and then we're ready for the actual cooking bit. So I'll come back to you in a second. So all I'm doing with these 4 eggs is literally just whisking them up with a fork, like you would do if you were making scrambled egg or an omelette. Some people like to add a little bit of milk in when they're making scrambled egg or omelette. I guess it does make the mixture go a little bit further, stretch it out so you get more out of your eggs. But to be honest, I'm going to leave these as they are, just with the eggs. But it's entirely up to you. As with everything I do in the kitchen, it's not an exact science. So that'll do for that. I've got the oven on 180 degrees because we'll be using the oven. I've got a large, it's more of a wok than a frying pan, on the cooker, so we'll set about cooking some of these ingredients. So I've got my large wok or frying pan. Just going to pop some oil into there. That's olive oil, doesn't really matter, you can use olive oil or vegetable oil. This muffin tray is what we'll be using in the oven. I'll set that to one side for now, because we're not going to need that just yet. And all we're literally going to do, the carrots and the onions, we're going to just saute those off in this little bit of oil. It should only take, I don't know, 3 minutes, 4 minutes maximum. There's something hissing on there. Don't quite know what that is. Live videos. So I'm just waiting for this oil to heat up. It shouldn't take too long. It is on a high heat. I will turn that down in a minute once we get frying these. We'll just give that a second or two to get to temperature. Perhaps test that with something just to see. Not quite there yet, but it shouldn't take too long. Yeah, it's starting to move around on its own now, so it's just about there. There's not a great deal of oil in that pan, as you can see. We're just literally going to get these sauteed off. I think probably the carrots first. Spread those around. Let's get that up to temperature. It is cooking, but it's not quite to temperature yet. Yeah, now it is. So we'll get these onions in as well. And literally all we're going to do is saute those for 2 or 3 minutes. I'll get another dish while I'm waiting. Should have been prepared. There's always something. I can just tip those into there once they're done. So literally all I'm doing, stir these around in the pan. 3 minutes or so, just to saute them. so I'll come back to you in a while when that's done. Okay, so the carrots and the onion has just been sautéed. I just popped them into that bowl for a second. I could in theory have done it all in one without this bowl, but just for ease of showing you. I'm keeping the pan to one side because we're going to be using that again in a moment. In the meantime, we've got our muffin tray, so we'll just, you can either brush some oil in, or if you've got one of these sprays, you can just pop the spray in. Doesn't really matter, as long as you've got some oil of some sort in there. Because what we're going to do is we're going to pop the carrot and the onion into our mixture of the beaten egg, or the whisked egg. Try and get it all in, don't want to waste any. And there we go. Just give that a stir around, if you can see that or not on the video, just to get the mixture so evenly distributed. You're not getting big clumps of carrot with no onions and vice versa. And then once we've done that, all we're going to do is, he says, this is where it gets messy, or potentially could get messy. Let me just pop a cloth under there, so I don't get this all over the work surface. So we're literally just trying to scoop out equal amounts of mixture into the little muffin trays. Just leave a little bit of space, because as you're spooning this out, the egg mixture will try and escape, and you just might want to top up with some of the purely egg mixture. Excuse the fingers. We might not fill all of these up. There are 12 there. There's always a bit left in the bottom. And there's 6. We might scrape 7 out of this, I'm not sure. No, perhaps not. Now, depending on how many people are in your family, will dictate how much of this you want to make in any one session. As there's only myself, I suspect I'm going to be having a large dinner and supper. We're about there with this mixture. So we've got 6 there, 6 quite decent sized muffins. I'm just using up the last of the egg to make sure it's all used up. And literally all we're going to do now is pop those into that oven, 180 degrees, for about 15 minutes. So I'll just pop them in now. And we'll be using the frying pan again, or the wok, whichever you have, with a little bit of oil in. And we'll do our spam and potatoes. I won't actually do that right now. I'll give the muffins probably about 10, just over 10 minutes to be cooking, because I want these to be cooked at the same time, and these will literally take less than 5 minutes to cook off in that pan. So once the muffins are somewhere near done, I'll come back to you. You can see me do that piece, and then you can see me put it all together on the final plate. Well, those muffins have been in for just about 10 minutes. So I'm just going to quickly set about cooking the other ingredients so that hopefully they all come out at the same time. So our muffins are almost done. I've just got the pan on again, and we're literally just popping the potatoes in. Put a bit more oil in there and get it up to temperature, and then we'll do likewise with the spam. These won't take very long at all because they're cubed up. Just make sure they all get an even coat of oil, and then we can pop the spam in. And we'll just let that get to temperature. It'll only take 3 or 4 minutes for these to cook through, by which time the muffins should be done. So I'll come back to you shortly. Well, the muffins have been in for just about 15 minutes now, so they can come out, which means that the potatoes and the bacon grill, or the spam, whatever you want to call it, have been on for 5 minutes. They're just browning off now, so I'll just plate up the muffins. Let's see if we can get these out on camera or not. Don't know if they'll have stuck. See what we'll do. Let's try doing this. Tip them out. I can't do this one-handed. I'll turn the camera off and I'll come back to you in a second. Right, bit of wrestling there, trying to do it one-handed wasn't working. But you can see the muffins have come out. The potato and the spam, I don't know if you can see or not, is browned off nicely. So that's ready now. So I'll turn everything off, plate up, and then you can see what it looks like on the plate. Well, that's the meal plated up. I've got 3 of the muffins on there as the sides, with the potato and the spam. And if I just pan across, you can see that I've actually got a second portion there. So that there's easily enough there to make a decent meal for 2 people. If I can do this one-handed, let me just cut into one of these so you can see how it looks inside. And you can see the egg, the carrot and the onion inside. So there we go. There's our carrot and onion muffins with a potato and spam dinner for 2. Bon appetit. Well, that's it for this video. I hope there was something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. What do you think? Is that something you might want to try? Let me know in the comment section below. But for now, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.